And over to this, an MSNBC host is going scorched earth on the Democratic Party, claiming they're not doing enough to denounce Elon Musk and DOGE. Here's host Michael Steele over the weekend.
I would actually, you know what? I'd just like you to show that you that you got a little emotion about the fact that people are losing their jobs indiscriminately. That this individual sitting down 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has given absolute power to one man who brings his son into the Oval Office, whose son says to him, "You're not the president." So I just like to see somebody wake the hell up and get excited about the fact that your country is under assault. They're not at the gate anymore. They're in your bedrooms. They're in your living rooms. They're in your businesses. They got your data. They got all your stuff. Elon Musk has his tentacles in everything you're doing, not just off of X, but now he's in the Treasury Department. He's in the Labor Department. He's in the Department of Homeland Security. And nobody seems to give a So that's all I want, somebody to show that they care enough to get off their fat and say something about it.
Whoa, did he have an extra shot of espresso in his coffee? I don't know. I mean, Kennedy, DOGE is in my bedroom. Oh. That's news to me. I looked around my bedroom last night. I didn't see DOGE.
Kinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's in Digital Underground. He looks like Humpty Hump. Doesn't he? She knows what I'm talking about.
That's right.
Yeah, he should be doing the Humpty Dance all the way off that MSNBC set. I mean, that turncoat used to be the head of the RNC, and now he's become this rabid progressive. Like, what's next? Is he going to go full commie and move to Siberia? I hope so, because this claptrap really has no place in the discussion. If Democrats are smart, they would get on board and say, what can we cut to make government better on our terms? But they're not doing that.
They're not doing that. Emily, you know, he also said that Elon Musk is president. Well, newsflash, he's not president. President Trump is. And also, newsflash, 1962, Congress passed the role of special government employee. It's the role of an expert who can come into government legally passed by Congress. Sounds exactly like Elon Musk.
Because the precedent set in the early 50s, when we were in the Cold War with the Soviets and in the space and arms race, we used geniuses like Kelly Johnson to design the U-2. So we have a history of the government recognizing in the private sector that inventors and geniuses, brilliant minds that aren't conformed to the structure of bureaucracy and government, that yes, we need them. Back then it was synergy. Now it's considered sin. And I don't quite understand, as he says, you know, wake the hell up to Democrats about the assault on government. To me, the greater assault is that latent slumber, that bloat of government that has lulled everyone to sleep, where just because things are the way they are mean that that's how they have to keep going, when we have been exploited, paying the salaries of these government employees and watching that waste, fraud, and abuse as if nothing's happening for decades.
You know, Paul, maybe the DNC can draft the brilliant mind of Michael Steele to come up with their talking points.
Yeah, maybe not. You know, look, he's ranting and raving about the fact that nobody voted for Elon Musk. I don't remember anybody voting for Hunter Biden. And he was meeting with some of the top officials of the Chinese government. So, you know, there's very much a sliding scale here. Look, this doesn't convince, okay? Very clearly, these are the rantings of people who have nowhere to go. Donald Trump has grabbed, I'm going to steal a line from Gutfeld, Donald Trump has grabbed the common sense caucus, all right? Americans are looking at what he's doing and say, yeah, that makes sense. We should have done it a long time ago. And yet, somehow or other, Democrats got to oppose it, and it gives you nowhere to go. So what do? You get louder. We had an old saying on the NYPD, empty garbage cans make the most noise. I'll leave it at that.
Harris, I deeply suspect over time you're going to see a big approval rating for DOGE. In Trafalgar, it was 49 to 44. I think that number will tick up.
So you and I were talking on air in reaction to that win with the law that could be challenged still by the end of the day, having to do with DOGE and how much access they get with it. So what's interesting to me is it's time for now Trump and Musk to go on the offense. Yeah. And what you were saying is go out and find one of those areas, start to really show some receipts here so you can shut all these, oh my gosh, I came out of the woodworks to help you fight that case, Democrats and judges and whatever, because it is time for that. And then you will see some numbers that will come out from people to say, yeah, those are the droids that we're looking for. I would say this, I want to quote Mark Thiessen from last hour, the resistance is dead.
I like that. The resistance is dead, offense only. Those are the marching orders. All right.